Greetings and welcome to episode 389 of Geeks in Space. I am Rob Commander Taco Malda, and I am here today with some of the finest folks you'll ever meet. There are their faces. Hello.
I'm not sure that we're some of the finest folk. I mean, I'm
Speak for yourself. I'm awesome.
You're full of muscle relaxants. You think everything's awesome.
It's true.
Yeah, he's up on Goofball's dear listener.
It weren't Goofball's Benzedrine. Am I remembering that correctly?
You know, I don't actually know the drug lingo, because I'm not from the
Etymology
Midwest.
of Goofball.
And yeah, the etymology. Yeah, etymology.
So, all right. Well, the best one that I have on the list is the one that's probably almost immediately going to force us to tag this episode as not safe for work. But the UK government has dropped their porn blocker plan.
Oh, I thought we were going to talk about Boris Johnson's negotiation tactics, and that's why this was going to become not safe for work.
And I thought we were going to talk about that basement full of blood, and I was wondering how they were all connected.
Do you want to try this over again, Rob?
Rob.
Yeah.
So everybody, welcome to episode 389 of Geeks in Space. I'm Rob Commander Taco Malda. Would you like to introduce yourselves, rated PG-13 gentlemen?
Hello, my name is Chris DeBona, and I'm rated PG-13.
Wait, am I a 1980s PG-13? Like, is there a boob involved, or am I a 90s PG-13 where there's nothing?
I remember that the Transformers movie was rated like PG, and they said the word shit. And I remember being absolutely scandalized in 1988.
Literally, by saying the word shit, you have demonetized the video. You know that, right?
We don't get money. Ever.
What are you talking about? The Teespring account? We've sold no t-shirts.
It's hard to demonetize zero, it turns out.
Yeah, really. It's very satisfying,
We're kind of actually paying to do this because we all seem to be putting money into microphones, cameras, and nucks. Mostly Chris.
We're supporting the economy, is the
Right,
word you're looking for, Rob.
I always thought that what you really were doing was trying to prevent Rob and I from going into massive depressive slumps.
No, that doesn't work.
Oh,
Yeah. It's just Malda that would work for, not for Rob.
I think we all have our motivations, right? Mine was, when I came out and visited recently, I really honestly treasure hanging out with y'all, and I miss you all. And I also see myself as the glue and the ligament that holds your friendships together, because if I'm not around, you guys are like, let's have a fire tonight. And then Jeff is unreliable. Rob is high on goofballs. Uriah he's like, so long as it's in my house. It's like, this holds us together. I'm like the force, right? I imbue us and I hold us together as friends. And
that's not how the force works, Chris.
That's midi-chlorians.
Chris is just like dark matter.
Yeah, I was going to say.
String theory. No,
You're just like a gravitonic wave.
He's like midi-chlorians.
I'm like no. Anyways, what I'm trying to say is the reason I do this is because I really like you guys, and I miss you, and I wish we could all live together in like some weird drama with no sex, and that'd be cool. So
I always thought of it that for me, for the let's say post 2005 2006 era, when work stopped being just fun all the time and started being an actual job, my favorite part was having coffee with my friends and sitting and smoking cigarettes on the porch and shooting the shit. I said it again, so now we're double demonetized.
Well, you also said shooting, and
Oh yeah.
Gunplay, so GunTube now demonetized us.
Yeah.
All right, well, that's enough hand-holding. Let's get on to porn in the UK.
That's right. So yeah, what was I mean, there were so many things about that system that wouldn't work, and they at least realized, kids are capable of installing VPNs. It's actually really easy.
Well, more than that, so within the UK government, there's a group that wants to ensure the cybersecurity of the nation, right? And one of the things that I was trying to instill upon them is not to ban porn. You should educate people that the problem with these sites is more often the payloads of malware that comes when you click on the wrong thing. So we should have an eye towards protecting the citizenry, the Queen's subjects, from malware, not pornography. Who cares about pornography? Well, as long as it's a good source of, good secure computing, open the floodgates, right?
But what about all the British kids who are now going to be warped by seeing a nipple?
Well, I have to tell you, if you've been outside of London and towns like Wolverhampton or Sheffield or Manchester, they've seen lots of nipples.
Also, if you grew up in the 80s, you'd see them just by watching rated PG movies.
See?
Or watching PG-13 plus podcasts. This is not my giving permission to Rob Malden to take his shirt off, just for the record.
All right, thank you.
Not this again.
God.
It's
it's like a carp.
Sir, this is an Arby's.
This is a classy establishment.
It was.
It never was. Ever.
Guys, we were doing so well when we started the show. I thought we were going to lock up that lifetime, channel sponsorship with all our feelings talk, but now it's all shit and nipples.
Well, Chris did come up with those great slogans for all those cities in the UK.
Come to Manchester.
Come to Manchester. We've seen tons of nipples.
I think
I'm going to London in 2 weeks. I'm waiting for the customs people to say, Mr. Demona. Yeah.
I think that you're just getting ahead of the next wave of marketing that they're going to need to do post-Brexit. For come visit us, we need your money, we got it.
So Christine's coming with me, and she's actually flying home on Brexit Day on the 31st. I'm flying home the day after, and I'm like, so.
I saw a thing. Did they actually agree on that now?
Boris Johnson says that they have an agreement, which is about as valuable as Trump's statement of he and China have come close to making an agreement.
Trade wars are easy.
Listen, I know we're not going to get all political in this broadcast, but did you see the memo that he sent Erdogan? I mean,
yeah.
If there is further proof that there's a serious amount of goofballs being smoked in the White House, that letter, I'm like, don't be a tough guy, but don't be a fool. And I'm like, what the hell is going on here?
So
they outsourced all of their writing. When
I saw that memo,
I am gonna talk, Malda. You always talk over. They outsourced all of their.
There you go, Rob. No, it's you're up. I muted him. You're up, buddy.
I think he muted Rob. No, he muted Bates. Okay, Malda, you go for it, man. Wait, Malda muted himself. Oh, that's the Nuck. Yeah.
No, that's the Nuck. You can go, Rob.
I'm really interested in hearing what both of you have to say. So, Rob, please, I want to hear what you have to say about the memo of
I'm muted.
You're not muted. He muted me.
Why do I have the little red icon?
Because that's the Nuck.
That's the Nuck.
Oh, man.
I gave you some love and you just wouldn't take it, Rob.
That really is Rob and a Nuck.
Let him talk.
Oh my God, we're so professional. I can't figure out why we would be demonetized.
What kind of shit is that?
No, what I seriously want to say is that I saw the presidential memo thing that he sent out, and I thought when I saw that it was one of those joke websites that takes Trump tweets and prints them out with letterhead.
Yeah.
I thought it was the joke site. I was like, oh, that's funny.
Yeah. No, even Trump wouldn't write something that
later. It's like, no, that's real.
No, I thought it read like something like Barstool Sports had put together and issued or something like that, like PFT commentator or something.
But remember, for that memo to leave the country and go to Turkey, it had to go from Trump to his, stenographer with her, typewriter or something, because God knows they probably didn't use a computer. And then he had to sign it. Then it had to go over to the State Department. Then it had to hit the Turkey desk, and it had to hit Mike Pompeo's desk. Then it had to get routed via the cable system over to Turkey, then hand carried over to the government of Turkey. And Turkey's probably like, what the shit? I mean, the number of people who had to be complete quisling incompetence to let that thing out is just astonishing. It's like rotting all the way through.
Yeah.
Don't go back.
I mean, wow. Okay, let's keep going. Basement's full of blood.
Related
Kitchen's
though,
full of blood.
I just wanted to make sure everyone knew that I have continued to be unable to order the laptop and have done it 4 times since Tuesday.
So you're
just got
up to 16?
Have you called? Did you call the?
There's no phone number.
Did you call the one in San Francisco or something? Or
Yeah, I guess I could try calling the retail store, but
you could fly to Taiwan, go to the Razor operation in Taiwan, in the mall there, and you could also go to Viveland and play the games. In the little. They have like.
Remember how Sony had Club Vio? We could go visit Club Vio. Well,
Oh, they have them at Microsoft stores. You could try that.
oh, that's not a bad idea. All right.
I have many good ideas. Is there a Microsoft store in Michigan?
Yeah, there's one. It's like 30 minutes away or so.
Really? Where?
I think it's up in Novi.
Oh, in that fancy mall.
Yeah, the fancy one.
Fancy.
It is funny how now malls, like either they're fancy malls or
they're out of business.
Yeah, they're feral, like jungle baby malls.
I like that there was. I was reading a thing that one of the things that was happening in malls now is those big anchor stores that can't get tenants.
Yeah.
They're selling them super cheap and renting them out to marijuana grow farms.
Wow, that's a good one. I haven't heard that. I've seen data centers. I've seen like paintball arenas. I've seen all kinds of stuff, but I haven't.
Rooms around here.
Yeah. Oh, and universities. Like apparently there are universities who just take over like parts of malls now.
That's a really
and
good
they're
idea.
not good universities. They're like kind of cruddy universities, but
Betsy DeVos universities.
So, Rob, you find any cool basements full of blood?
I have not, and my basement is not flooded with blood. I was surprised yours hasn't yet. I mean,
No, it's only flooded with raw sewage just that once.
and asbestos. Don't forget the asbestos.
Also the asbestos, only just that once.
But we're not kidding, Jake.
That was before the Russians stole the condenser out of my refrigerator.
Wait, Russians stole the condenser out of your refrigerator?
So when I moved into my house, for whatever reason, the inspector never tested the refrigerator because it was unplugged because the house was not being lived in. And then we discovered, actually bought the house and moved in, that they had hollowed out all the electronics, and the refrigerator was just a shell with no like machinery inside of it.
That's a very weird crime,
right?
'Cause you don't have like a commercial refrigerator. You have a refrigerator, right?
I went to Home Depot or whatever and somebody bought
So
a.
you've got the Sanyo 1/5 or 1/6 horsepower compressor, which is the only replicable part to another refrigerator.
All right, wait. You didn't say Sanrio, which I was
I said
like,
Sanyo.
a Hello Kitty refrigerator?
It's not a Hello Kitty refrigerator. But it's such a weird crime. That's like a methy crime. Like somebody's like, "Oh, this upper tubing's gonna get me another hit." It's.
That's right. But I mean, that was the list of of all the random things. Like we had when we moved in, a furnace died, an air conditioner died, the refrigerator had parts stolen, the floor turned out to be full of asbestos, the sewage leak.
Basement's full of blood.
Basements full of blood was not our deal. So we're coming out ahead of that guy.
According to that story, fat had seeped through as well, which is fantastic. It's not just blood. You got a basement full of fat and
Was
blood.
it next door to an abattoir?
Evidently, there was a large meat locker that had broken down, and everything just sort of putrefied and leaked through the walls into that guy's house.
I'm done. I have a better version of the story. Do you remember Trey McCombs?
Oh my god!
Oh yes, we remember
So
Trey.
When he moved to Atlanta, He built a climbing wall in his basement, and I guess he punctured a sewage line when he was installing the grips.
Oh no!
And so he had a sewage problem, flood in his basement.
That absolutely tracks with Trado. Like all of that story, I'm like, yep. Completely makes sense. I am not surprised. Yep. Yeah.
The real question though was the climbing wall painted with gradients?
Oh, almost certainly. Almost certainly.
You are going to have to provide a little bit of context for
Trey McCombs never met a gradient that he didn't like. I had him make some T-shirts, and I said, no gradients. It'll cause them to cost $2 more per T-shirt. And what did he come back with?
Gradients.
Every thing he designed.
This is at a time when we were really sensitive about money because the Intel money hadn't hit yet at VA Linux. And so we're like, we need to save every dollar, you know?
Yeah.
Well, also, I mean, like, every single website that he had anything to do with, he had gradients like I had drop shadows.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, did you see the thing about WeWork taxing Meetups now?
Yeah.
Wait, now, so did Meetup actually get spun out?
That's what I was trying to figure out.
Not yet.
Oh, yeah. And so they're trying to charge $2 per RSVP. So if you invite 1,000 people, you have to pay $1,000. Is that the story? Or is you only have to pay for the people who show up? It's really not a great plan business-wise.
No.
Also, it doesn't seem like that's an essential thing, and you could probably pretty well replace that with like a mailing list and a Facebook post.
Yeah, especially a Facebook post. But yeah, at WeWork, man, it's such a funny dang story. Because everyone with half a brain saw it coming a mile away. SoftBank sank now what, $13 billion into the company? And I'm like, They just kind of look like suckers. Or really, really bad money laundering, you know? Because you might remember from Better Call Saul, Saul was going to charge about 17% to launder money, right? And I'm like, you know, so is this just like a really large sovereign money laundering scheme where they sink money into like the Ubers and the rest, and then they get, 70% of their money out? It's really not good, man.
Okay, so they looks like they backed off. There's an update to this story now.
We're only going to charge 25 cents.
But no, it was $20 a month, and then they dropped it to $2. But it's just a test.
It's just a test.
Just a test. So it is. They're just testing. Let's see what else. I had one other thing that was fun. NASA has new spacesuits.
I thought that was actually really cool.
Yeah. Yep.
Mary Robinette Kowal, who knows a lot about spacesuits and stuff, she's like, they look good. They're not under pressure, but they're looking pretty good because they have this huge range of motion. They have the really big, arm. They look really cool. I mean, I got to give NASA credit,
I don't think that, I know the people in this room know this, but I don't think it's generally understood just how much of a pain in the butt spacesuits actually are.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
No kidding. Yeah. Alan Eustace, he was the first person to make a new spacesuit in like 40 years, like a new design. And he was just like, he spent millions to make that damn thing, and he's just like, you can't get in it or out of it yourself. Like all these problems doing stuff, and he was in it for like 9 hours.
Yeah.
On his 2 drops, and I was just like, whew.
Well, and even once you're in them, because they're all pressurized and everything, like you have almost no mobility.
Yeah,
I mean, they're physically really difficult to use.
Yeah, the only thing I'll say about the spacesuits that I noticed was there isn't a whole lot of room for sponsorship banners. And if we're going to privatize a lot of stuff, Cheetos is probably going to need to make a spacesuit.
Maybe like
for
that.
Yeah, you're going to need branding on there someplace. So,
we're going to do it in post-production. We're going to just blow up the space on them so we can swap the logos out.
Don't say blow up ground space stuff.
So, Rob, I actually need you to explain to me the blob story about the blob that has 720 sexes.
See, that is the thing that I'm wondering about too, because I know what a slime mold is, and it is a very unusual creature that that or organism, I suppose, that sort of walks the line of animal, plant, and fungi. They haven't.
Well, really creeps the line.
Yeah, creeps.
Creeps.
But I figure out how they've determined that it has 720 sexes. So
That's probably just like a mistranslation by the French.
yeah, I hope that's what it is.
Well, they just
It's
decided
really only
that,
200, but in France we know love. So it's
they
really
decided
700.
at 300, and they just said, let's double it.
Well, it started out with LGBTQH, and then it just kept on going.
Yeah, so that is a
Boom,
lot.
demonetized. All right.
That is a lot of pronouns. I don't think there's even
Can you
enough
imagine like the
pronouns.
pronouns for 720?
Yeah.
Individuals?
You have to number them.
Yeah, you do. You do. That was
So anyway, it's a weird organism that people have known about for a long time, and some marketer at the zoo in Paris was like, "All right, we're going to unleash this thing, call it the Blob, say it has 720 sexes, and run with it, and see what happens." And that's what they're doing.
I mean, the article that's making the rounds doesn't have a lot of information.
No, I haven't been able to find any.
What it does have has how fast it is. It can go 4 centimeters per hour.
Per hour, yeah.
I'm not threatened.
And that it can remember caustic substances. It can find its way through a maze. And really, the only thing that kills it is.
I think they'll find out that this is a mushroom.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Just watch, and you'll see.
So it's funny, Rob, you were mentioning the mazes in memory. I did not know this, but several years ago, I guess is back in 2012, they found that you could teach, I guess, a flatworm how to navigate a maze. And then
you could cut it in half.
Yep.
And the part that grew into a new flatworm would know what the previous half knew.
Yep. When it regrew its brain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it has like DNA sort of knowledge.
Yeah. The other one that I liked as well, and I'm trying to find the original for this, is that if you take a flatworm who has been taught to cut it up, feed it to another flatworm, that flatworm then also knew how to do the maze, which...
So this is the point in the scientific process where you say, let's replicate this one. Because some stories are just a little too good to be true. And so you start thinking, was there something about the maze? Like when the little slimy worm goes down the maze, did they get rid of the slime? Was it using a chemical, guide for future worms? I mean, like, did you start with a fresh maze every time?
Right. Was the maze pheromone free?
Was the maze pheromone free? Was there cheese at the opening that the mouse wanted?
And if so, what kind of cheese?
Yep.
Right. It was a camembert. Was it, blue cheese? Was it
the flatworm wearing a new spacesuit or the old style spacesuit?
But to be fair, I don't think we've done enough studies on which cheese flatworms prefer yet. So
yeah.
I think I know what I'm doing this afternoon.
That's right. Gonna go get you some Gouda.
The UK government probably gave up on the porn blocker just because they weren't really sure between the 720 sex molds and the flatworms how they were going to classify that for the porn filter.
Right. And like if they block just every website in France, it's just not hard.
Isn't like Pornhub and all that based in Canada? I think that's where you'd have to block.
Yeah, French Canada.
Yeah.
Ooh, all right. Fair.
Actually, are they really based in Canada? I don't
yeah, they are. Yeah.
Boy, that makes a lot of sense.
How?
Well, gentlemen.
Hey, what else do we have to talk?
Half hour.
Oh, I wanted to talk about
I want to hear Chris here explain why Canadians are naturals for setting up porn sites.
Dude, you want to get us demonetized in Canada too?
Yeah. Well, it's really Albertan.
Haven't we offended enough people today?
Chris has already made a clean sweep of, England and their nipples. No,
I was just explaining the needs of the common citizenry.
The needs of the citizens of Wolverhampton. Talk to you by Chris DeBona.
This is gonna all work out just fine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Should I say goodbye now?
probably.
Do you guys want to say your farewells, say your names, be polite? Like,
Sure. Okay. Yeah, I'm Chris DeBona, and it's been great.
I'm.
never are.
Really?
All right, I'm putting up the slide. Thanks for listening to episode 389 of Geeks in Space. I'm Rob Commander Tagamald. Thank you